Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Sharon, and on this channel we will be discussing biblical related matters. So today we will be discussing the demon that is assigned to your life. So, we and this won't be scripted. This is just like us having a conversation. So, in the Bible it says that believers, we have, angels, you know, that are always around us, that are ministering spirits sent to minister unto us and to carry certain graces and things like that unto us. So when you receive that angel from the Lord, to help you and to, carry messages of the Lord from you and to do God's will in the earth. There's also the demonic kingdom. The kingdom of darkness also assigns a demon to your life. They assign they have an assignment for your life. The same way that God has like his assignment for your life, like in the kingdom of light, the kingdom of God, there's also a demonic assignment for your life. Like the enemy does not want what God has for you and the fullness thereof to come unto like actuality. He doesn't want that to happen. God's will for your life. He doesn't want that. So he's counting on the bloodline iniquity, things that the witchcraft that your grandmother did, the charms and the omens that your great-grandfather did. He's counting on the superstitious dealings that your mother does. He's counting on the soul ties that you've made with these people these men that you've been with and these women that you've been with. I'm married, He's counting on those soul ties that you've created, unholy, ungodly soul ties that you've created. He's counting on them to destroy you. He's counting on the sin of the past life, the when you were an old creation, dead in your flesh, covered in your blood. He's counting on the condemnation. He's sending condemnation your way to condemn you and to make you think that you don't belong to the kingdom of light. Do you remember what you used to do? Do you remember what you did? How could this holy God forgive you? How could this holy God let you into his kingdom? How could this holy God have something beautiful planned for you, someone like you? So he has these tools. He uses pornography. He uses addictions, drugs, masturbation. He uses all these things, to try to destroy you, to lead you away from your kingdom assignment. And so we have to be mindful that when we declare that we are a viable, available tool of righteousness, instrument of righteousness for Yah's kingdom, when we declare that is declaring just open fire on the enemy's camp, just on the enemy's agenda. That is just declaring war. And so we open ourselves up to attacks from the enemy, but we know that there's protection in God, that there's protection in the blood, that there's protection in the priesthood and in the office that we walk in as believers. We know that there's protection in it, but we have to know the authority by which we call for that protection. We have to know the authority by which we can trample on serpents and scorpions and overcome all we can quench the arrows of the enemy, and we can dismantle his operations so that he may form the weapon, but it will not prosper against us. That the devices may be formed, but they will not prevail against us. That he may send the storm, that he may send the assailant, he may send the destroyer, but they will not prevail against you. Why? Because there is sustenance and depending on God. There is life and depending on God. There is life in God's kingdom. There is salvation in God's kingdom. God has saving power. And so let's be aware going forward that the enemy is very real. The enemy is very real. And we have to be aware and take control of our minds, because that's like the enemy's playground, is the mind. So we have to begin to discern Which thoughts are of us, which thoughts are from God, and which thoughts are of the enemy. You know, because I might say, I really could lay down and take a nap right now, and I could just do this later, you know. Or God may tell me, you know, you're like feeling like this now, you're like wasting time, like procrastinating. So let's just do this. That's kind of a rejuvenating kind of act to kind of, you know, get you back together, and then let's approach this later. But the enemy may send you a thought like, this is stupid. Nobody's ever gonna watch this. Nobody's ever gonna pay attention. Like, why are you even doing this? Like, was that even God you heard tell you to do this? Like, are you even sure? Like, are you? You know, so like, we have to be discerning, and we have to categorize those voices. We have to take in, like when we take things in, when things are sent our way, we have to take them not as they are, but we must hold them up to the word, and we must examine them and make every thought obedient to the word of Christ, to the word of God. You know, they have to bend, they must bow in obedience. You know, we have to take every thought captive. You know, what's a captive doesn't necessarily want to be caught. We have to take each thought captive. Not every other thought, not a thought today and a thought next week. We have to take each thought captive and make it obedient to the word of God. The enemy is very real. We have to be aware of his tactics. We have to become aware of how he deals with us specifically. We can look and see how he affects other people's lives, because he don't need but a couple of tricks. He don't need a whole lot of stuff going on, because these same tricks that he's used generation after generation, eon after eon, they have proved him. They have brought their returns back. Sevenfold, they've brought their returns back. These same tricks that he used in the garden are working today. Those same tricks are still working today. So we have to become aware of how the enemy is trying to influence us personally. What snares and entrapments does he take out of his goodie bag of tricks to try to ensnare you? Become aware of those tricks and tactics so that the next time that it happens, you can take it captive. Because it all begins in the mind. You have to take it captive and say, hey, I know what this is. You're not going to get me this time. And guess what? And when he sees that it doesn't work, he's going to try something else. He's going to reach back off in the bag, and he's going to pull out a different trick, you know. And you might fall for this next trick. You may fall for it. Because guess what? He's never had to pull that trick out, because you always fell for the first one. You never even made it past the first trick. So when he pulls out that second trick, don't just take that as just another thing, another happening, another coincidence. Actually think, yo, Satan been trying to get me. Devil been trying to get me. Devil been sending his little agents after me. So I caught the first thing he was trying to do. I was on to that. Now this here, what is this? Let me examine this. Let me not take it as it is. Let me examine it and see if this is something that the enemy may be using to try to ensnare me, to try to entrap me, to try to send me 400 years backwards. So you have to know your enemy. Know that there's a demon assigned to you that their sole purpose is to make sure that you don't get not one step closer to what God has for you. You know, I had a vision the other night. Like most of the time when I lay down at night, I pray throughout the day in tongues, but because I could sit there and be like, sometimes I'll be at work and I'll be like, people don't really know what you're doing, and then it kind of looks like your lips just trembling. And sometimes if you're wearing a face mask, you know, back when they you had to wear the face mask, like especially in the healthcare job, you had to wear it. So, and then sometimes you be sick and then like you wear it now. But a lot of the times you could just, you know, I wasn't just all about the mask and all of that, but a good thing about the mask is you could pray in tongues under it. Ha ha, you didn't think about that, did you? But yeah, so I lay down to pray in tongues when at night. I lay down to sleep, I pray in tongues. And it's like when I pray in tongues, it's like I can see in the spirit normally, but when I pray in tongues, especially at night, and I'll be making a video about the 8 watches, the 8 watches, especially the night watches, because there are times when the spiritual realm, it's like the veil to it is thinner, and it's like right there. Instead of it being like way over here somewhere, it's like right there, you know? So, yeah. But yeah, so I lay down, to sleep, and I start to pray in tongues, and I fell asleep. Sometimes I fall asleep when I'm praying in tongues, and I wake up and I'm still praying in tongues. Did you know that can happen? It happens. You can fall asleep. You could be praying and fall. You could be praying and fall asleep, praying, and wake up and still be praying in tongues. I ain't never had nothing like that ever happen to me, ever. I'm trying to see what that's like. If y'all ever seen the movie Friday After Next, that's where it's from. But yeah, it happens. And yeah, so I had a dream that the enemy showed me. He had me, we were at this like pool party. I'm gonna tell you, wow, God just gave me some revelation. That's crazy. So, and then I'll tell you the dream first, and I'll tell you what actually happened in real life. And sometimes I get kind of teary-eyed when I get revelation, because I'm like, wow, God is always revealing things to me. And he does it like that. All you have to do is be available. You have to have the right heart stance, and he's just constantly like downloading things to your spirit, downloading it to your spirit. But you can't be so full of yourself that you can't let him in. But anyway, I was laying down, and I had a dream that I jumped into this pool of water. Water was really deep, and there were people around, but they didn't know I couldn't swim. So I jumped in the water knowing that I couldn't swim. And I'm like, why would I jump in the water if I know I can't swim? Like, I wouldn't even do nothing like this. So I was on to the dream from the beginning. And so I was under the water, and I couldn't get above the water to tell the people that I couldn't breathe. And so I died, right? And then I remember, fast forward through everything, the enemy, this what he gonna do. I'm holding my phone, scrolling some kind of way, and I'm dead, right? But I'm seeing like the phone scrolling, and they have a picture of me dead. Like, and somebody Amber, my best friend, commented on it, and she was like, it was something stupid. It was like the best texting buddy a girl could have, or something like that. And I'm just like, how stupid is this? Like, what in the world? And the thing is, he reveals to you. The enemy is very real. He wants you dead. He wants you dead. He don't want to cat scratch you. He doesn't want to, pull a piece of your hair. He doesn't want to mess your hair up. He doesn't want you to get like an annoying eyelash in your eye, and you blinking and blinking and blinking, and you just can't get it. He wants you dead. When you are doing something to promote the truth and promote God's kingdom and build God's kingdom on earth, he wants you dead. Like, deceased. And if you out there if you're out there playing church, and you're not trying to further your walk with God, you're not trying to walk in your kingdom assignment, you're not trying to see God's kingdom in the earth, you're not trying to build his kingdom actively, the enemy don't care if you go to church. He'll send his demonic agents to church. There are people that's working for Satan that go and sit in church. There are people full of demons sitting in church. He don't care if you go to church, depending on what kind of message you hear at the church, depending on what he know you'll do with what you hear at the church. But when he started to see what you're doing, he wants you dead, because he know that you pose a threat to his kingdom. If you can sway one person, you pose a threat to his kingdom, and he takes that very seriously. And so if you had like any misgivings, if you had any like kind of like not knowing where you are, when you, and I'm not trying to scare you, you know, not trying to scare you, but you do need to be aware, you know. But what I was getting at is that in real life, one time I was at a pool party, and I, some kind of way, I was at the shallow part, and I just kept taking steps, and I was like, it'll slowly get deeper, and then when it gets too deep, you know, I just stop. But I was like maybe a foot in, I took one step, and it like dropped to like 10 feet, and I couldn't get, I was like, and they thought I was kidding. And there's this one boy who knew that it didn't look like I was kidding, and he came and he saved me. He came and he saved me. He came and he got me, and he grabbed me, and he swam me to where I could cough up the water and everything like that. And my eyes were red, and I was throwing up water. It was like, but I hadn't forgot about it, but I didn't connect it to that dream until just now when I was getting ready to tell you guys about it. So it's like, it's crazy that God like brought that to my remembrance. That like the enemy could have taken me out right then, but God's protection has been on me. Even when I didn't know him, his protection was on me. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna make more videos about this because it runs very deep, the enemy and his tactics and how he's assigned to your life, and how, like, it runs so deep as to, at my job, I started to work more hours. And while I was praying in tongues, God revealed to me the enemy's delighted in me working more hours because he knew I would be tired, and he knew that I wouldn't have the energy to make my videos and keep up with my blog and make my jewelry and crochet my nail it to the cross kits and all the things that I need to do to, you know, complete the assignments that God has given me. God has given me so many books to write. God has given me so many now. I got like 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 things going on right now. And I'm like, God, am I doing something wrong? Like, should I have gotten these assignments done already? Like, what's going on? Like, am I failing miserably? But it's just that there's so much work to do, and it's like a shortage of workers. There's a shortage of people who are actually available and willing and ready to be an instrument of God's righteousness. Like, and then the ones that are like, a lot of the ones that are be like they love God and stuff like that, they're not available. They can maybe minister and help build a kingdom in one way, but they can't do this, that, and the other, you know? Or maybe somebody's married, you know? So they're yoked with this other person, and they're like responsible for each other, so they have all that going on. That takes time, and that takes energy. So there's very few people who are like single, don't have things going on, not entangled with the world, and just are completely available for God. There's not many. And those are the ones that have to really watch their back, because the enemy will try to take you out. He will try. But there's protection on your life. If God protected you while you were an enemy of God in the world, how much more so will he protect you now that you have announced that Jesus is the Lord and Abba is your Father, and that nothing will separate you from the love of God, and that nothing can separate God from your love, that your love will reach God, and that you will love God, and nothing will become an idol for you. Nothing will separate you from God. Nothing will come before God in your heart, right? So I'm going to end the video here. I hope you guys were blessed by this message. There will be more to come on this subject. Enjoy the rest of your day.